Shumfai hitting that, only hitting 21% for the year from three-point land. That's been a real problem for Stanford coming into today's game at Chapel Hill. On the drive, Kelly leaning in, tough shot, and a rebound torn down by Lopolo. Stanford in transition. Rebound comes out high, and good hustle by Swain to keep that one alive. Haley Swain, 5'11" freshman.
Two freshmen in the starting lineup for Stanford. There's that back door with the floor space. What a great look, and that's what I'm talking about. Stanford's offense better equipped against an overplaying man-to-man team versus a sagging man-to-man where NC State forced them to take a season-high 23 threes.
A long reach there by Aguirre and plucks that one away. Both defenses show up every single game. One's going to be turned over. And there's second turnover.
This is what I'm talking about right here. Look at this back door. When you don't jump to the ball and you're not in the gap because you're overplaying that passing lane, one pass away, that's a great backdoor look by Stanford.
Well, North Carolina really hangs their hat on the passing game. They're an exceptional passing team. About 100 more assists than their opponents coming into this one against Stanford.
55% of their baskets are assisted. And Stanford did a really good job right there on Renaya Kelly, who loves to reject that side ball screen.
And Harris, the Louisville transfer, picking away the rebound. Shot clock inside 10. The entry feed, and up and no good by Harris. She's a big at 6'2". Stanford not going to wait around. Ogden comes in averaging 11 a game. More good size for the Cardinals. She's 6'1". Shumfai will let fly. Got it.
Boy, that's a good-looking freshman, isn't it? Shumfai's got a great touch. She's averaging a double-double as a freshman. It's impressive what she's done early on. I think she has a whole other level to get to.
Which is scary, coming off 16 rebounds the other day. Toomey wriggling free underneath for the basket.
Really good job running the two-man game on the naked side of the floor, keeping the weak side busy so you can't get help at the rim.
Chloe Clardy can be dangerous beyond the three-point line. They really rely on her.
It's good to see her back. She's missed the last couple of games in concussion protocol, but she arrived in the triangle on Thursday when Stanford was playing NC State. She is not on a minute restriction either, so this will be a much different looking team with Clardy on the floor for Kate Pay.
Aguirre with a nice touch there. One of the most improved players in the country a year ago, and now Stanford's #1 scorer. One and done for North Carolina, and here comes the Cardinal again.
They will play scouting report defense on that end of the floor, will Stanford. They will have poured over countless numbers of plays and sets and actions, and Kate Pay's team is ready for it. They're making shots early, and that allows them to set their defense.
Aguirre, shot clock a factor down to 5 as that's knocked away. North Carolina collapsing defensively.
That's India Navarre getting in the passing lane. Off the bounce, getting in the gap, I mean.
Kelly with a miss. She's been slowed by injuries too, but last year's second team all ACC for North Carolina. And Stanford with a decent start here. Pretty crisp, actually, a 9-5 lead. Came a long way for these two games. 2,800 miles from beautiful Palo Alto, California, but a fourth turnover here in the first quarter. Stanford on top 9-5.
NCAA titles, I'm sure, is watching from her home in Palo Alto and rooting like crazy for the Cardinal and Kate Pay.
And maybe taking a break at halftime to work on the piano a little bit.
Or read a book or make a dish. Yes. You know, she's a pretty good cook.
Yes, rather gifted. Just a spectacular coach. Knocked down on a good-looking jumper by Nyla Harris, who was a Cardinal for Louisville for 3 years.
Well, they did a nice job coming off the timeout, playing inside out to set up a mid-range jumper for Harris, who actually is leading them in ACC play and scoring.
Chloe Clardy trying to get into the fray. She was Stanford's leading scorer the last 13 games of last year, the 30-point game against Virginia Tech, so she can be a huge factor as far as the offense is concerned.
This is a pretty athletic group on the floor right now for Stanford when you add E.G. Woye, who was the point guard last year. So playing with 2 point guards on the floor is what K-Pay likes to do at times. So does Courtney Banghart. That's what I'm talking about. This league is about the guards.
Now the foul will go on Haley Swain. She'll pick up number 1, the freshman. And coming up at 5 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2, 2 of the best in the Missouri Valley will square off. Murray State will be hosting Bradley. It's coming up at 5. So the Tar Heels with the ball, getting a good play downstairs for Toomey using her size.
2 possessions off the timeout. Courtney Banghart gets her offense going by playing through Toomey.
Stanford a couple of minutes plus without points. Swain trying to change that. That's around and out. She got a good look, but only 4 for 23 beyond the 3-point line. Unfortunately for Stanford, when we recite some of those 3-point numbers, they're going to be rather ugly.
Yeah, this is not always going to be pretty, right? We've come accustomed to watching Tara Vanderveer's great teams, play with great balance and passing and a lot of threes. And this is a defense-first team for Kate Pay. She told us her defense is a little bit ahead of her offense right now. And that's partly because you have freshmen on the floor that are playing significant minutes.
Grant into the game, feeds the big Harris, taking her time. Very nicely, good patience.
Yeah, Nyla Harris is an experienced 5th year who is strong and can finish around the rim.
Long one, and up and in by Champagne.
That's her 2nd triple of the game. When Stanford's not turning the ball over, they look pretty good.
She has 8. And 2 for 2 beyond the 3-point line. That's a good early sign because she only hits 21%. As a team, Stanford stuck at 31% outside the 3 coming into play. Navarre, the contact, gets it up and in.
What a take by Navarre off the bounce. Not much space there to get to the paint. She's also tough.
You can see her strength. Out of the corner, Clardy, but no, too strong. North Carolina wants to push it. Minnesota will line up a long one and hit it. Nice touch.
Yeah, she's a tremendous asset in the portal that North Carolina picked up. There's many weapons on this Tar Heel team.
She is from Helsinki, Finland. She's actually played some pro ball in Finland. 1:44 to go in the opening quarter. North Carolina with a surge here, pulling their offense together and taking a 4-point lead.
Had a great visit with Courtney Banghart yesterday about her team, how much she thinks they continue to improve. We know how good their defense has been, and their offense continues to click. And with Brooks on the floor, this is one of her freshmen that has been an outstanding addition to North Carolina. And that ball pressure right there forces a turnover.
Clardy with an errant pass and threw it away, and that's their 5th turnover.
Stanford had 21 turnovers against NC State on Thursday and 30 turnovers in their loss to Tennessee earlier in the year.
Sala will knock that one down. She's starting to get rolling.
It's just really good action playing off that flare screen and not trying to force anything, just taking an open jumper.
She can back out and hit a 3-pointer too. Very dangerous, 38% beyond the line. Courtney Ogden, the junior out of Atlanta, will spin. Got it.
Really nice footwork in the paint. And Nunu Agara, when she catches it in a pinch, sometimes she doesn't even look at the basket. She should look at the basket because she's constantly a threat with the ball in her hands at 15 feet on the elbow.
Talana Lapolo will pick up the foul.
It's just really good. Off 2 feet. Nice job by Courtney Ogden. In the women's game, the jump stop isn't just landing with 2 feet on the floor. You can land 1-2 now and have the ability to make that play. And I like that rule because it doesn't take points off the board.
Anderson slams on the brakes inside the last minute of the first. Out of the corner, Toomey can't connect. 6'2", she can get up and over the guards, but unable to connect there. Ogden looking inside. The bounce for Aguirre. Using her strength, and they're going to count that. Well, let's see. They're going to wave that off, and that is going to be an offensive foul, so no basket there.
You watch Toomey right here. You see the lean by Aguirre to try to create a little separation right into the chest of Toomey.
So 4-point lead for the Tar Heels. And the last 18 seconds before the end of the first.
Here comes that ball screen. Good switch by Stanford.
Ucello trying to go up and a shot plucked away. 5 seconds to go in the first quarter. Ogden going 1-on-3, but could not get that one to go at the horn. And that's the end of the first quarter. North Carolina with a late one. Anybody stop Indiana as they power their way into the Final Four here. North Carolina with an 18-14 advantage on Stanford. Kind of a chilly start, Deb, for North Carolina, but they caught fire.
Yeah, I think the difference coming off that timeout was Courtney Banghart's team played through Sierra Toomey on the block, and their first 2 possessions off that timeout, they were able to score. And I think she's a big part of what they do, and Kate Pay's team has the same amount of turnovers as field goals. They can fix that. You got to ball fake North Carolina. You got to. They already enter into the post and in the high post area at the pinch. They just can't turn the ball over.
You told me that Toomey is like 280 off the tee. They go back inside again. That she is a tremendous golfer.
She's a 6 or 7 handicap.
Wow.
Yeah, she hits a 280. So I'm already recruiting her for the spring. You know what?
Her for lessons.
One of the reasons why she's at North Carolina, she told me, is because when she was younger, she made a trip to Pinehurst to play golf at an event.
That'll do it. Yeah.
And fell in love with the state. And she's a kid from Pennsylvania, and Dunmore, Pennsylvania, Dunmore High School.
Ogden driving inside. She'll draw the foul as we open up the second quarter. Deb Antonelli, Dave O'Brien with you, and Henderson picks up the foul, the freshman for North Carolina. That will send Courtney Ogden to the line. Now, we talk about the foul shooting issues for Stanford. She's not necessarily one of them. She makes 76%. But why is this an issue for North Carolina to make foul shots? Stanford's really good, 79%. North Carolina has a lot of problems making foul shots.
It's an anomaly. I don't know. I can't explain it. They're the top 3-point shooting team in the ACC, which means they can shoot it. Usually when you're a good shooting team, you make free throws. So I don't know if it's change your routine or if it's get in the gym and practice. That usually helps. But I definitely think it's mental with North Carolina.
Well, Stanford gets to the line, they're going to win the game if it's close late, as they make them like nobody's business. Swain in transition, gives it up, back up top.
So you had a mismatch with Nunu Agara being defended by Laney Grant, and that pass should have gone to the block. You have to recognize those mismatches.
Toomey with another touch, but lost this one. The Polo to set things up now for the Cardinals as they trail by 3. And that's going to be a traveling violation. So they've turned it over 7 times. You've already touched on this a couple of times. This has been a problem.
It can't be a live ball turnover either. I mean, that's a dead ball turnover, so at least Stanford will have a chance to set their defense. And, you know, Kate Pay has relied on her team's defense most of this season early on as their offense has come along. And she also told us today before the game, she's really counting on her returners to be the ones that help the freshmen come along a little bit faster. And I think they are coming together.
Navarre has to kick it back outside. North Carolina at 13-3, trying to go to 3-1 in the conference. Arnisolo has been a big part of this resurgence in the first half.
Well, that's part of the depth issues for North Carolina, and it's not an issue. Honestly, it's a good thing, is that you can play a lot of different players, and if someone is hot, you leave them out there. And Arnie Salo is having a great start to the game.
They want to go 10 or 11 deep if they can. She's going to pick up the foul. That'll be her first.
You know, that's the challenge. It's not the defensive effort. It's playing 10 or 11 on the offensive end. That can be issues. I don't think it is a problem for North Carolina, as I mentioned earlier. I think this is their best team, and they won 29 games last year. The depth allows you to play a variety of ways at different paces and prepares you for any style you might see.
In and out on the second by Aguirre. Brooks with a crossover. And she'll draw the foul. Trying to get the short jumper in the air, Nyla Brooks. And another freshman. Going to be very important here for North Carolina. So she'll be at the line to shoot, and Brooks. Well, this is very strange because she makes 43% from three, but she is 40% at the foul line.
This is what I'm talking about, right?
Now the 48th annual FCS championship game is tomorrow 7:30 on ESPN, ESPN Deportes. Illinois State, the Cinderella story of the playoffs, squaring off against the second seed Montana State. Our pregame coverage begins at 7 o'clock. Bobcats looking for their first national title since 1984.
All this back cutting should shrink the defense a little bit and open up the top of the floor.
Shumfai gives it up, shot clock to 7. They get a shot in the air, and that's off target by Haley Swain. Had to rush it up there with a shot clock a problem. Arnie Salo driving down the lane, but can't finish it.
That's a break for Stanford. Nobody stopped the ball. North Carolina doing a really good job of getting back in transition. They have sped up Stanford a little bit. They denied all those back cuts. And Courtney Banghart's got to be pleased with the last defensive stance by her team, which resulted in a Blanca Thomas rebound and an outlet. Look where Arnie Salo is catching that outlet, and no one stops the ball. That's part of the reason why Courtney Banghart likes playing with multiple point guards on the floor as well, Dave, because you can quickly advance into your transition game, and you can quickly get into your sets. Oh, I thought that was a double dribble.
No call.
She lost the ball, and then she double dribbled.
Carolina on top 21-16. Stanford trying to get their offense back in gear, but turnovers have been a problem. And that one nearly picked off by Navarre, and she got a hand on it. Some sticky defense by the senior.
India Navarre's tips, deflections chart has got to be one of the best in the nation. She seems like at times there's two of her out there. And part of what she does is instinct, and the other part is just her natural athleticism. But it's also a determination to want to play some good D.
Officials will get together and confer on possession here, and it'll go the other way. It will be North Carolina ball.
Shumfaye's got to finish that, and that's off Ogden. So it's a good job by the officials not to force a challenge or an appeal. Come together and get it right.
You've coached a lot too, and you know when you drop a play like that, and it works to perfection, except you don't make the shot, right?
Right.
Drives everybody crazy. Everything you did was perfect, except the most important thing is Navarre will draw the foul on a strong drive, coming in averaging 12 points, 5 rebounds a game. The senior will be off to the line. She got hit by Courtney Ogden.
You have to play India Navarre with a cushion. You cannot get up in her grill. She is too quick and athletic, and that's her game. Putting it on the deck and getting to the rim.
Only 56% at the line. As a team, 63%, which is dead last in the ACC. Another thing that drives coaches crazy, but you do feel like over the course of a season you can improve
I think so.
at shooting and making fouls.
You have to. There's two different philosophies there. Do you actually talk about it, or do you just let them do it on their own and figure it out? Right? Certainly, they've got to know that they're not a good free throw shooting team.
Shumpai, who did not come in hitting threes, is hitting them here today. She has 11 points. And that one drawing Stanford to within 2.
She had 12 on the season coming into the game. She has 3 in this one.
Yeah, she was 12 for 57, which is but 21%. That's a 3-second violation. So the Cardinal with an opportunity to tie or take the lead.
With all the talk about free throw shooting in North Carolina, what Courtney Banghart does have is Renaya Kelly, who is reliable and accountable, and in a late game, she will be the player on the floor with the ball in her hands.
She talked about that with us before the game. Ogden goes crashing inside, draws the foul. So 5:39 to go before halftime here at Chapel Hill. Stanford trying to return to the NCAA tournament. Foul on India Navarre, by the way. That'll be number 1 to put Ogden at the line. Odd to say, but Stanford missing the tournament last year for the first time since 1987. They have not been in the top 25 to start the season for the second year in a row. With the incredible success that the Stanford program has had, they're trying to get back somewhere in that area code of greatness. And, you know, they have a very, very good freshman class here, ranked number 3 in the country, coming into play at North Carolina, so a really good foundation.
I think Stanford is 37 in the net and is an NCAA tournament team this year. I think they have talent. I think they are going to be one of the teams that finishes above their projection in the preseason poll, which was 6th. I think that much of the talent they have and how I expect them to continue to improve.
Swain, a bump and a foul on Lanny Grant. As we are tied at 21, she'll pick up her first. North Carolina, on the other hand, coming in number 16 in the country. And trying to pick up their 14th win of the season. After, as Deb mentioned, 29 wins last year. Up top, Lopolo, the senior. California native on a bounce feed. Beautiful. And 2 points for Swain.
Got the court all spaced out, have North Carolina spread out on defense. It's an excellent backdoor cut.
North Carolina having trouble scoring it all of a sudden, but that one's going to be knocked down by Kelly.
Reliable, durable, accountable. Started the season slow, did Renaya Kelly. Had a minute restriction, but healthy and ready to go now.
Chloe Clardy, the junior. With a shot clock to 10. Trying to make a move and swings it. Here's Swain to let fly. And that was in the cylinder and kicked out. North Carolina looking to retake the lead. Grant, she can make the threes, 37%, and buries that one.
18 years of age, reclassified, and it was only getting better, Laney Grant.
2024 Virginia Gatorade Player of the Year. Shumpai short on that one.
Good D by Toomey.
Grant pushing it. Right to the 10, tried to lay it off for Navarre. She'll lay in 2. And a timeout, Stanford.
Now Stanford's got to guard the ball better in transition.
Of the last minute of play, necessitating that timeout.
Well, Courtney Banghart can put 3 or 4 guards on the floor, and when you have that kind of athleticism, you can play with a little more pace. I think their stops on the defensive end have also helped them get out in transition.
North Carolina's already had 7 different players score, and they force another turnover. Kelly to push it all the way through.
See how deep the ball is getting in transition? It's getting to the paint before Stanford even guards it. They got to get way up in their transition defense. They're not sending anybody to the offensive glass. So if you're not sending anyone to the glass, then you should be back in transition. Now that was a live ball turnover. Those are hard to recover from. If you turn it over between Murphy and Manio on the floor, which are the ends of the state of North Carolina, you can forget about it.
You know you're North Carolina. You spent a little bit of time here.
I have.
Tar Heels with it. Kelly will call out a play. Annie Grant will swing it. Under 3 minutes to go before halftime. Another touch for Toomey. Been a big part of the offense. You see why.
Well, she has developed into a player that is going to demand a double as the season goes on. That's going to change the dynamics for North Carolina around the perimeter. But right now, she can score in a one-on-one, and that's a problem for Stanford.
Yep, making 62% of her shots. North Carolina now up by 7. Shumpai already hit 3 threes here in the first half. Swain will lift and got it. Nothing but net for Haley Swain.
Her 5th of the season. She hit one in the NC State game.
Part of that outstanding freshman class for the Cardinal. North Carolina making 4 of their last 5 shots. Pull up Pop Kelly, but short. And a rebound taken away by Stanford.
Shumpai can really rebound. I mean, she has a knack for getting to the glass, especially on the defensive end.
Yeah, getting 10 a game, had 16 against NC State the other day in a losing effort. Swain gets it back to her in the corner. 10 to shoot. Flips it up off the backboard, but nothing there. And Navarre went to make a spin move, but draws the foul on Courtney Ogden, the junior with the personal. And Saturday night, freshman phenom Caleb Wilson and number 12 North Carolina host Wake over at the Dean Smith Center, right on campus at 6 o'clock Eastern. And immediately we debut our documentary chronicling the 1993 national championship winning UNC men's team led by the great Dean Smith. Never before seen footage, interviews, a lot more, both right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app.
I'm going to tell you right now, if you understand the history of this league between Jefferson Pilot and Raycom Sports, that is a must-see documentary, because if they have video that has never been seen, then they would be the only ones that would have it. Because the history of this league with the announcers and your long-time term in the ACC, Dave, you know what I'm talking about. Like all the greats that have come through to call ACC basketball on the men's side.
I still hear the voice of the great Mike Patrick whenever I
what a great
think
guy.
about the ACC, and what a wonderful guy as well.
How about Packer and Thacker? I didn't go back that far. How about Bones McKinney?
You hit Bones McKinney. We talked about him the other day. The heck of a player. Banked up and in by Laney Grant and a coach as well. 32-26. North Carolina's offense has hit another gear here.
2-for-1 opportunity. They got to score quickly, though. I mean, turn down the post wide open. For a better shot, a 3, Eschmeyer. How about that?
The McDonald's All-American out of Boulder, Colorado, just off the bench.
How about the bigs for Stanford knocking down triples in the first half? That's 4 threes from their post play.
It's the major reason they have stayed connected here. 5 out of 11 for a team that only makes 31%. Arnie Solo will draw the foul as she went up. 5'7" junior. 32-29. And that'll be on Stanford. And Eschmeyer picks up number 1. A solo out of Helsinki, Finland. Transfer from UCLA. And shooting 2 with 7.7. And one of Carolina's best at 82%.
North Carolina is going to sub for a defensive possession right here and look for some pressure, try to get a quick turnover.
She makes the pair. And Talia Henderson, the 6'1" freshman on. Plenty of time to get off a decent shot here for the Cardinal.
Tough job turning her into backcourt.
Swain will flip it up, and around and out it goes. So that's our score at halftime. North Carolina on top of Stanford, 34-29.
About Stanford's three-point shooting by their bigs helped them stay in the game. They've got to do a better job of taking care of the basketball. For North Carolina, it's about pushing in transition and keeping the attack on both ends.
Going to be a very meaningful win for somebody coming out of Chapel Hill today. At the break, North Carolina 34 and Stanford 29. Second half to come. Right now, back to the studio. Christine and Rebecca will take it away.
She is a tough check on the interior.
Arnisolo 12 points to lead the way for North Carolina. Champagny, as you mentioned, making those threes, and she has 11. Stanford has to keep track of those turnovers. You know, that came up in their locker room as they committed 10 of those. North Carolina's defense has a big say in that because it's an exceptional D. North Carolina opening up the second half. Navarre going downstairs, but it's going to be out of play.
North Carolina running some roll replace action, trying to get a little isolation on the two-man side. Good defense by Nunu Agara, who is playing with 2 fouls. But she has to stay aggressive here for Stanford in the second half.
She is a Naismith candidate, 15 points, 9 rebounds a game. When you listen to her head coach talk about her, she believes there's another gear there. They have a great relationship. A pull-up pop, that won't fall for Ogden. Got it away in the baseline, and a good save. Champagny came away with that. Lapolo up high. Champagny again. Ogden will try once more, not this time. North Carolina the board.
A lot of contact on that drive down the lane.
Tar Heels trying to break away here in the third, and up and in. Harris, too much to handle there at 6'2".
I mean, she's wide, and she's active, and she gets early position inside. And Ogden in transition knocks down a mid-range with an and-one opportunity.
Yeah, took the push and drew the foul on Navarre, and a chance for a three-point play.
Navarre puts her hand on her hip right there, and I think she was trying to avoid because she knew she was late on the contest. But you know, North Carolina has done a really good job of pushing the ball in transition in the first half. I think they've been able to get to the front of the rim, to the paint, and see if Stanford can get something going in their transition game.
A nifty three-point play there by Courtney Ogden. That makes it 36-32 North Carolina.
Nyla Harris is asking for the ball to be reversed so she can reshape up.
On the bounce, Toomey sticks it back outside. Harris, a nice look there to drop in two.
Yeah, good things happen when Sierra Toomey catches the ball on the block. Nice face-up jumper there, Dave.
Now, you were talking about it right away as Navarre with another deflection and a theft. And a very difficult angle. Can't get it to go, but she will draw the foul. Really tough shot for the 5'10 senior. She'll be off to the line. Back to the theft.
Watch Navarre shoot the gap. This is where her instincts take over because she knows an uphill pass like that from the wing back to the top of the floor gives her a chance to gamble. And then when she's in the open floor, she's just too big and strong.
That's one of the first things you were pointing out today was all the deflection. She gets her hands on everything. Such an active defender. Can't connect on the foul shot. Only 56% there, so that needs work.
I like Coach Banghart over there smiling when they miss. I mean, it's kind of like, it kind of takes the pressure off your players a little bit when you look at your coach and they're not frowning because you missed, but they're going, oh, okay, you make the next one.
She's so important for them. Their assist leader, top scorer. She had a 10-steal game against South Dakota State. Wriggling inside, and the Cardinal with a quick strike.
So Stanford has scored on threes, and they've also scored on, by my count, 3 backdoor cuts. That's part of what I was talking about early on with the way North Carolina defends, is that it would be nice for Stanford's system to be able to get some good opportunities.
Well, Harris trying to get position underneath, commits the offensive back to the previous play.
Watch this pass right here. Again, Arnie Salo up the lane, and when you have the weak side away from the basket, you pull the weak side defense away, and that opens up the lane. It's a really good cut. I actually think cutting is one of the 4 fundamentals. Passing, shooting, dribbling, and cutting is a fundamental in the game.
Polo finding the open shooter, and Clardy will knock that down. She can hit that shot 37% beyond the 3. And this becomes a 2-point game in the 3rd. On the entry, it's Harris again to her right and draws a foul. Nyla Harris, the senior from Orlando, the Louisville transfer.
I mean, Harris does her work early, Dave, because she sprints and she gets deep position at the front of the rim. It's what you call a rim run. It's really well done. And she's been the recipient. Her and Toomey are really working on the blocks together well.
And Carolina doing a good job rewarding her for that. That hustle to the other end. Stevenson goes to the bench for Kate Pay. And it'll be Harris to the line, 72%. Your dad, Robert, played 8 years in the NFL as a big defensive lineman. He played for the Vikings and the Giants.
She's a high-level competitor. Had great success in her time at Louisville as a graduate transfer. She's here at Carolina getting a second opportunity.
Averaging 10 and 6. ACC play 14 a game.
Stanford really accelerating through their quarter-court offensive stuff now. They've really changed the pace of the game.
Ijiwoye going inside, but can't hit that one with the left hand, so 1 and done.
There's Harris again, ahead of the basketball in transition.
Ijiwoye with the steal and lays it in.
Yeah, the tempo out of the locker room for Stanford has completely shifted. They've got some momentum right here.
So Stanford cuts it to 1. Harris on the high post. Looking for the guard, Kelly with a pull-up pop. Yes.
It's just a great dribble handoff action by Renata Kelly, who beats Ijiwoye to the spot.
O'Gara looking to spin and stripped to the basketball by Navarre. Her outstanding defense again, and she'll drive it, hand it off. Harris again to the other end, and will lay it in. Nyla Harris going end-to-end consistently for Courtney Banghart, making a difference. She has 11. So Carolina back on top by 5, here with about 5.5 to go in the 3rd. And that'll go the other way.
Look at the rotation right here by India Navarre to dig in on the dribble. As soon as Nunu Agar turned her head, Navarre gets the strip, and North Carolina is running the other way.
Well, Aguirre just picked up the foul on the offensive. She has 3 and has to hit the bench. She's their top scorer and getting 9 rebounds a game along with 15 points. That's a big loss for any stretch. Solo gets it up there and around and out. Boy, she got the shot she wanted. A foul before the shot here on Stanford, trying to contain Harris. Easier said than done here in the second half.
Oh, I love the step-up screen action by North Carolina. So what that does is Harris brings the step up, and then Arnie Salo is attacking the second level with drop coverage, and that allows Harris to get to the glass. I mean, it is just a well-executed offensive set by North Carolina.
And for Kelly in a quick shot. 5 minutes left in the 3rd. Stanford without a key player. Nuno Aguirre on the bench in some foul trouble and tipped away by North Carolina. And time for a break. 4:49 left in the 3rd quarter. 44-39. North Carolina in front.
not only gives stats to North Carolina, but it raises the level of everyone else on the court. And that's what a leader does on that end of the floor. And India Navarre is certainly that for North Carolina.
She played her freshman year at Stanford before transferring to North Carolina, coming back home.
I mean, you talk about great kids. I'm going to tell you, India Navarre is a great kid who's taken advantage of every resource that college athletics would allow you.
Shumpei barreling inside and commits the foul. So that'll be an offensive, her first.
Does she drop her shoulder on this? Let's look and see what this angle provides. Because she's got a mismatch. Oh, I don't know about that. I'm going to say Laney sold that one. And you know, there's no restricted area in the women's game, but there is a cylinder right under the basket. I'm not sure Laney was in that, but it was close.
And occasionally awards for good acting. 4:28 to go in the third, 44-39.
At least Stanford recognized the mismatch, which in the first half they did not recognize. That's adjustments, Dave, out of the locker room by Kate Peck.
Grant named to the ACC All-Freshman team last year. Did another good player for Courtney Banghart. Talk about their depth and players who can do a lot of different things. Stevenson with a spin and denied. On some outstanding D by Sierra Toomey. He's really had a fine game.
She is fantastic. Now, Courtney Banghart told me yesterday that Toomey is legit 6'5". She's listed at 6'4", but she is long and active on that end of the floor.
Not only that, they get the basketball back after the block. So Carolina in possession, under 4 to go in the third. Grant gives up the dribble. Straight on Toomey. In and out. A scrap for the rebound, and North Carolina comes away with it. They go back for Toomey, the 6'4" sophomore. And the banker is good.
How athletic is that? Last year, Toomey took 53% of her shots outside the arc. There was a different personnel grouping on the interior. This year, she's the focal point on the inside with Nyla Harris.
Long distance and buried by Clardy. What a nice answer for the Cardinal.
Yeah, no, listen, Stanford's not going away, okay? And Clardy's got to start playing better. And I know she's just coming back, but they need her.
Well, Harris, second effort, missed that as well. She can't believe it, but she'll be headed to the line. She had 2 golden opportunities there, and 1 for a 3-point play.
Look at the high-low setup right here. What a pass. Toomey away from the D, inside to Harris. Just pat her stats a little bit right there. Offensive rebounding, they get to the line.
Shumpei, the freshman, with her second foul. And the college football playoff semifinals on ESPN. Thursday, Miami taking on Ole Miss. That's the Fiesta Bowl. Friday, Oregon squaring off against Indiana in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Coverage of both games at 7:30. Spots in the national championship game Monday, January 19 on the line. Who are you taking?
Well, since my Buckeyes are out, I'm going to go with Miami. We are in the ACC today, so I'm going to stick with them.
Clardy will kick into the corner. And a long one off target. Rebound comes free. Garrett inside. And we'll head to the line looking for a 3-point play. Nunu. As that one spun free in a big hoop for Stanford.
I mean, watch the work on the weak side to battle for this rebound. Nunu keeps it alive, and then watch her reaction after this. It's like a sign of relief by her. Like, finally, something fell. You can just see her reaction by her body language.
Toomey with his second foul. Guerra looking for that 3-point play. 81% at the line. And this becomes a 3-point contest.
This is pretty much where Stanford was against NC State on the road on Thursday. And then the fourth quarter was their issue. They're right here with North Carolina, the number 16 team in the country on the road.
Brooks trying to penetrate to her right and made the shot.
What a smart take.
Yes.
I mean, smart. I mean, because you got a smaller defender. And Brooks, who is known as a 3-point shooter, Stanford runs her off the 3-point line, But Shumfai's got to be able to help there. Harris is in the deep corner right here. She is not a threat to shoot the three. I know you usually don't like to help off the strong side corner. However, that's personnel driven, and because Brooks had the length and the size, she puts it down inside.
Delana Lopolo with her third. So under 2.5 in the third quarter here at Chapel Hill.
That's what I want a guard to put her eyes on the rim. Good short roll in the middle of the floor. She has to go to her offhand. You know what I'm saying, Dave? Catch her on the pinch, turn and look at the basket.
Harris out of the double. And a good look underneath. It's Toomey to finish that. Arnisalo with a nice pass. This is something Carolina does exceptionally well. A really good passing team. And that's going to be a timeout for Stanford. Carolina bolstering their lead to 7.
It goes from a 1-possession back up to a 3-possession game. North Carolina doing a good job of moving the ball, finding the open player, and finishing at the rim.
Such a great time of the year for professional and college sports fans. Now our game trends. Nunu Aguirre is one of the top offensive players in the ACC, but today held to 6 points. Deb comes in averaging 15 points, 9 rebounds.
Yeah, I'm looking for her to make a move right here for Stanford. She can give more, and she has an incredible energy and motor about her that Kate Payne holds in great esteem, right? She's expecting more as Courtney Banghart changes to zone coming out of the timeout. North Carolina didn't show any zone on Thursday against Cal till late in the third quarter, and then played a lot of it in the fourth. I love it when coaches keep a little something in the back pocket for the second half.
Ogden back to Swain. Here's Clardy. Not this time, and a foul in the rebounding action with 1:29 remaining in the third quarter.
Look at that activity on the weak side. That's the second time she's been on the weak side glass making a play. This is the motor and the athleticism we're talking about. Toomey 6'5", and look at Nunu go up with 2 hands.
Toomey's third, and off the ball. They're going to get a foul here with 1:29 left in the quarter, and this is going to go against Stanford. And well off the ball, it goes against Chloe Clardy.
Clardy setting the up screen right here. And it catches Harris right in the throat area.
Harris has been very tough to contain here in the second half. There's a major reason the Tar Heels have the lead right now. Deep in the corner, Harris.
North Carolina has really emphasized getting the ball inside, and that time results in a turnover. I mean, that could be your emphasis, but you got to make the easy pass too. If you just throw it back to the top, you can allow Toomey to spin and have that lob in the high-low game.
So both sides in double figures in turnovers with 15 for the Cardinal. Ogden swinging to the foul line and nails it.
Yeah, good job running some good offense. Good stagger on the weak side. Ogden ready to catch and shoot it. That's her game, the mid-range.
A 25-point game against Cal in Stanford's ACC opener. She can really score. Salo. Another bounce feed and a kick ball. There's a whistle here as well. A foul on the play. 36.8.
You know, we mentioned North Carolina's versatility earlier on the offensive end, and I'm telling you, this is one of the things that they do well, is they have really shown an emphasis to pound it inside here in the second half.
Grant on the baseline, try to spin it up there, and she gets hit. Lanny Grant getting downstairs at 5'9".
North Carolina has not taken a three in the second half. Everything has been attack the paint, high-low, throw it into Toomey, off the bounce. They've taken 1 3. Excuse me, they've taken 1. That was Toomey on the top of the floor.
Yeah, I've forgotten about it. Not exactly a feature here in the second half. Grant at the line, 81%. She had a 19-point game against Louisville.
And North Carolina's just got to get the right people at the free throw line.
Apparently. So 54-47 and their largest lead today with under 20 left before we begin the fourth quarter at Chapel Hill.
Horns in the last set.
Shot clock about a second behind the game clock right now. They'll get it to Ogden in the corner. Yes! Boy, that felt like necessary for Stanford. The heave at the horn won't go. And this is a tight one as we move on to the fourth quarter here in North Carolina.
The deep three against the zone might make Courtney Banghart think about that zone here coming to start the fourth quarter. For Stanford, this is the legacy and a big part of what Stanford has meant to the women's game has been Tara Vanderveer leading Stanford to all of that incredible success.
Well, it's a huge loss for coaching when she retired, and Stanford is trying to get back to that level, if indeed that's possible. Right now, just trying to get back to the NCAA tournament where they missed out last year. We're underway in the fourth quarter.
Interesting coming off the timeout that Courtney Banghart posts up a guard. They are really trying to get points in the paint.
By inside, not there for her. The rebound comes away to the Tar Heels. Nisolo the scoop, but no. Rebound batted down. It'll stay on this end. And touched by Stanford.
I'm thinking Kate Pay asked Chuck Gonzalez, the official, they want to take a look at the monitor. Shumfai got knocked down and was really slow getting back up, and Coach Pay had a conversation with Chuck Gonzalez. I believe that's what it was.
Chuck, along with Teresa Stuck and Ken Nash, the officials here this afternoon. And now they head to the monitor, so they are going to take a look. Yeah, we'll take the break. We'll take a look when we return. North Carolina in the early seconds of the fourth on top 54-50. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball brought to you by Kay, the official partner of couples who love the game. North Carolina and Stanford going toe-to-toe here at Chapel Hill. North Carolina with a 4-point lead. They took a long look at what they've determined to be just incidental contact. Here it is, Deb.
Yeah, this is not excessive. There was no whistle on it in the first place, so you'd have to make it an F1, and it doesn't rise to that. It's just an unfortunate play that she got hit in the head.
And we totally concur. North Carolina with the basketball. Trying to build in a 4-point advantage. Nyla Harris on the spin move, and will draw another foul.
Really good job attacking Nunu Agara with now giving her fourth foul.
Yes.
So she's going to have to take a seat. Really good job by Nyla Harris posting up inside. North Carolina really has concentrated on getting the ball inside. You know, and Courtney Banghart knows in her 7th year at North Carolina that if you're going to go deep and compete for the title in the ACC and deep in the NCAA tournament, you have to have different ways to win. You can't play the same way. You can't have the same rhythm. You have to change it up. And they've been impressive here in the second half, pounding inside in the paint. And Nyla Harris has led this team in ACC play in scoring. She's averaging 14 points a game.
Well, she missed the pair. So it remains a 4-point game. North Carolina's made only 9 of 17 at the line. Again, it's been a big issue for them at 63%. And a whistle. with 9:01 to go in the fourth.
So that's a call from the bench off the timeout. You go to horns and you're trying to invert your weak side guard to the block. That's Ogden, who has had a great second half. She's knocked down open shots. She's been effective on the defensive end.
Yeah, she's about 11 points a game. They need her even more now with Aguera on the bench in foul trouble. Clardy penetrates and kicks. The open shot for Lapolo, but no. Stevenson out-hustles everybody for the rebound. They'll get a second chance. Lapolo very good from beyond the three-point line, 43%.
Got the floor all spaced out.
Champagne lets fly with the shot clock winding down, but can't hit it.
She's hit 3 in the first half. You got to let her have that one.
On the bounce, they run the play for Harris and another foul. North Carolina really targeting number 2. And the Harris off to give.
I mean, this is Artisala was just doing a really good job playing off that step-up screen, and Harris is a hard roll to the rim. She's not a pick and pop. And because you have the weak side spread out, nobody has a foot in the paint on the opposite side defensively. That leaves the lane wide open for Harris.
Obviously, a game here, Deb, that can go either way with over 8 minutes to go. Who wants to take it? Who wants it a little bit more? It's certainly not been an offensive showcase.
No, it has not. But it's been competitive.
It's been that. Harris knocking down number 1 to build a 5-point lead. She has a 14-point game going into this foul shot.
You know, I haven't seen anybody shoot till their arm falls off, I can tell you that.
That's right. 56-50.
You've got time, though. You've got time. I think when you get in conference play, possession shrink, it's just the way the game goes. You know, it's harder to get transition unless you keep turning the ball over and in a live situation.
And a big problem for the Stanford Cardinal today. Harris with a kick out. Here's Navarre, but around it out.
Stanford's got to throw it on the block once in a while. They got to break the seal on the top of the floor.
Trying for Champagne, but knocked away again and another turnover. Give him 17. On the entry, Harris again and draws the foul.
She has been punishing because she runs hard. She doesn't run when she wants to. She runs every time. And there's a difference. And it changes the space on the top of the floor. And because she's got that big, strong, wide body and that 6'2" frame, she knows how to finish inside.
So the 6'2" senior makes number 1. North Carolina has had a couple of opportunities to really put a stranglehold on this game. Stanford's come back with 3-pointers quite a bit out of their bigs. Going into the fourth, they were hitting 47% beyond the 3-point line. Very unusual for Stanford.
Well, you knew you couldn't count on that in the second half because then the math happens.
And a foul as well on a big drive. And a terrific play. Pounding that one inside. It's Clardy for the basket.
I mean, she fakes the dribble handoff, and it's a great read. Strong finish with contact. And this stops the clock. It gets Clardy, as you mentioned earlier, Dave, a really good free throw shooting Stanford team on the line.
Short on that, but Champagne comes away with it and commits a foul. 57-52.
I mean, watch India Navarre just rip this rebound away. She just rips it away from the freshman.
So Carolina leading by 5. Trying to pull out a home win.
They go to their Princeton, their chin action.
Navarre.
Good D by Courtney Ogden.
Shot clock at 7. She takes a look and launches. Got an excellent look at it, but tipped out. And before the shot, Arnisalo, and another foul here with 6:58 to go, and that'll go against North Carolina.
Grant trying to rebound right here. They're going to see that offhand. Looks like it pushes. It pushes on the Chloe Clardy. That's a break for Stanford. A two-possession game. They can't have empty possessions. They've had a few on this end of the floor.
Somebody is going to be traveling. Or is that an offensive? Oh, it's an offensive. So she'll pick up another personal foul there. That's a couple within the last 2 minutes. She now has 4.
And she pushes with that off arm.
And Mary Ashley Stevenson, 6'2" junior for Stanford, back on. And Shumpai on the bench. Another key loss.
It's back-to-back plays with the old chicken wing out there, right? Just pushing off of that extra off arm.
Stanford with 3 players who have 4 fouls and a whistle on the baseline.
If that's on Agara, I think that's 5. Nunu Agara right here. Look, she's fronting in the post. She's keeping Toomey from getting to the spot. And the official determined that she displaced Toomey.
And that's it. So foul trouble, a big focus here down the stretch. As Sierra Toomey goes to the line, a 70% shooter. I don't think she meant to do that.
No, I don't think she did either. By her reaction, I'd say no.
But she'll take it. And Agara in despair over there. It's a rough game for her and a lot of foul trouble. Agara's tied up, and a possession arrow will take it to the other end. So it'll be Stanford ball here with about 6.5 to go. Clardy gives up the dribble. Ogden. They need her badly here down the stretch. If Stanford's going to pull this one out, Stevenson on the high post. Shot clock down to 6. Clardy. Shot clock at 3. And it won't fall for her. Second chance for Eschmeyer. Ogden again with a miss. North Carolina with the big rebound.
Stanford really crashing the glass, and it's allowing North Carolina to get up the floor. They didn't crash the glass in the first half, but they have changed and have been going to the boards here in the fourth quarter. Keep in mind, they were outscored by NC State 23-9 in the fourth quarter.
Well, still plenty of time here for Stanford as we approach 5.5 minutes to go. Getting it down for Ogden. She'll back in the basket.
Good post up. Good call from the bench by Coach Pay.
Grant off the screen. Into the paint. Navarre coming in averaging 12 a game. Flips it up. It won't drop. Cardinal with a big board. 5 minutes left. And anybody's game here in Chapel Hill.
Going back to horns. They've had success out of this set.
Clardy on the roll. Eschmeyer and a foul as well. The big freshman with a key hoop and headed to the line for a three-point play.
All that film and scout and work you do with your team for moments like this, this is winning time. You go back to horns because you've been successful with it. And Eschmeyer finishes at the rim with that 6'5" frame.
And India Navarre with her 4th foul on that play. 4-point game. Last time Stanford had a lead, the game was 9-5 in the first quarter, and now have crept to it in 2 in North Carolina here the fourth.
Well, I think Stanford has done a really good job of keeping this game to a one-possession game where North Carolina has really pounded away on the inside. You see the three-point shooting for North Carolina. They've only taken 2 here in the second half to emphasize the point about trying to score in the paint. And then you're always going to look at the free throw number with North Carolina when the game is 1 or 2 possessions. You got to put the right people on the line and have the ball in your hands at the right time. Now, Stanford does have 5 team fouls, so they're already over the bonus. No fouls to give for North Carolina as well.
And Alex Eschmeyer, the freshman, the McDonald's All-American, coming from a great basketball family. Her mom, Christina, the #3 all-time scorer at Northwestern. And she is at the stripe here, trying to finish off a three-point play, and does. And if this comes down to a foul shooting contest, it's a huge advantage for Stanford. They make almost 80%. North Carolina just 63.
But Arnie Salo is a good free throw shooter, and so is Renaya Kelly, and that's who'll have the ball for North Carolina.
Salo dumping it downstairs for Toomey on the spin for a basket.
I mean, it has been successful all game, and without Aguera in there, it's just Eschmeyer, the freshman, going against Toomey. They match up in size, but Toomey has a year of experience.
Pass up top for Stevenson, but another foul off the ball with 4:12 showing.
Sierra Toomey has really developed. She might be one of the most improved players in the league. Watch the position she gets, and she goes to the offhand. When you're 6'5" and you can drop the half hook at the midline, that's impressive.
Toomey's 4th foul, so a lot of key players in serious foul trouble. And it is Eschmeyer again to shoot 2. And got the roll. Trying to make this a 1-point game. And got the pair, nice touch. She has 8 points off the bench.
She's been good, right? She's got more points than minutes.
Stevenson back to the bench. North Carolina has answered time and time again against the Cardinal here today. Can they do it again with 4 minutes left? Toomey with a dribble down. On the bounce, up and in, and a foul too. Renaya Kelly slicing inside, and she is back to the line.
How many times have we called out Sierra Toomey for her play on the interior? He sees the double. It's a great dive on the backside by Kelly. As soon as E.G. Woye goes to double right here, Kelly gets in Toomey's vision. This is really well done by North Carolina.
And a 3-point play. Carolina back on top by 4. Being hounded by Grant. Ogden. Lopolo looking at the shot clock. It's at 6. Ogden on the attack. Nifty feed. Eschmeyer can't finish. Another fight for the rebound. Second chance. It's swung to Clardy. She follows the miss. They'll get a 3rd opportunity.
E.G. Woye, the smallest player on the floor, with a huge offensive board.
Eschmeyer.
Toomey's got to be careful here.
7 to shoot. That's going to be off Lopolo, and that's going to be a violation to the backcourt. So not clean. They've turned over 19 times.
What a good job by Renaya Kelly. And we're going to see her close out the game for North Carolina. She has not played a lot of minutes here in the second half, but that's to our discussion about depth. They need her on the floor for her ball handling, and Courtney Bangor told us how much she relies on Kelly, how accountable and durable she is.
North Carolina up 63-59. Navarre way outside. Here's Grant, 7 to get off a shot as Kelly backs it away, trying to use the screen. Back outside, Toomey can't hit it, and a rebound rolls out. It'll be Stanford ball with 2:47 to go. North Carolina 13-3. Stanford at 12-3. Stanford on a 2,800-mile road trip, taking on NC State, North Carolina. On this particular trek,
going 5 out, and the ball's getting stuck. Got to move it. I'd go to Courtney Ogden. Absolutely late clock right here.
Ogden needs 3 seconds to get a shot in the air. Stops and pops for 2.
She's the go-to down the stretch. She and Clardy.
.207 to go.
Got to really lock in right here if you're Stanford.
Toomey again, the focus underneath. That is tough to stop. Sierra Toomey, 15 points. Now they get the crowd behind them here. Carmichael, Lopolo. They want Ogden to touch it every time down. She'll swing it. Clardy with a triple. Off the back of the iron. Ogden with the rebound. Right back up, banked it in.
She has money. What a clutch performance here in the fourth quarter. While Shumpaiyi had 11 first-half points, she has not scored in the second half. It's been Clardy and Ogden making the plays for Stanford.
Ogden 19 points. 8 better than her average. She has shown up in a big way today. Stanford trying to grab one on the road. Arnisalo, no. And a rebound for Stanford. They could tie or take the lead with under a minute to play.
I'd go right back to Ogden in the pinch or set that stagger for her to get to the nail.
Clardy out of concussion protocol, gives up the dribble. Ijiwoye on the drive, lost it, got it back, bounced it, and 2!
First 2 points of the second half for the freshman.
Shumpaiyi with a huge basket to tie it at 65. Less than 30 seconds to go. Timeout, North Carolina. Courtney Banghart taking one with 28.2 to go, and we are dead even at 65 to the studio.
Coming up at the top of the hour, number 22 Baylor taking on number 10 Iowa State. You know all eyes are going to be on Audie Crooks in that one. That one is at 3 p.m. on ESPN. The other game at 3 p.m. Number 2 Texas taking on number 15 Ole Miss. That one is on ESPN2. Madison Booker averaging just under 19.5 points per game. Can't wait to watch.
Well, at times both offenses have scuffled in this one. We are tied up at 65. We've got Baylor and Iowa State coming up.
We got the nation's leading scorer in Audie Crooks. Bill Fenley's team undefeated. The last time Iowa State played in the Elite Eight was in 1999 and 2009. And I think he has a team around Audie Crooks because of the play of Jada Williams. They've never had a guard like her. She is 5th in the nation in assists and leads the Big 12 in that category.
Well, we've got 28.2. Who gets the ball here for North Carolina?
Yeah, I like Toomey in this situation.
She'll touch it here. Back for Navarre.
I think they throw her on the block.
6-second differential, shot clock and game clock. And a handoff for Grant. On a solo in the corner.
Good switch by Stanford.
She wants to drive it, scoops it, can't finish. And a timeout. Stanford with 9 seconds to go and an opportunity to win the game here at North Carolina.
Stanford switches and does a great job defensively. And Eschmeyer ends up contesting just enough on that drive by Arnisalo.
Well, let's see if number 40 gets the ball here. Courtney Ogden, we talked about her throughout the second half. what a difference she's made.
She's been terrific. She wants the ball. She's seeking game-winning plays, and that's the stagger action right there that I was talking about earlier. And just making the right read, spacing the floor, knocking down shots. 3 to invert to the block. Just a fantastic second-half performance by Courtney Ogden.
14 for her in the second half. As you look at the reset, North Carolina has the possession arrow. North Carolina 2 timeouts. Stanford has 1 remaining after taking this one with 9 seconds to go.
So first is you got to get the ball in bounds. And with 9 seconds, you've got plenty of time to run whatever action it is that you want. But I would believe that Courtney Ogden will get the ball here, whether it's in the pinch at the elbow or it's coming off some stagger action to the nail. And you want to take the shot with enough time to offensive rebound, but not give North Carolina enough time to advance the ball for a good look.
Well, Stanford the other day against NC State over in Raleigh, they were blown out late. Completely different set of circumstances today, and if they can come all this way, knock off a top 25 team on their home floor, this is a program trying to rebuild to greatness. This would certainly help.
We talked about this being a different defense for the way Stanford's system is set up, and they have played well here in the second half. North Carolina, it looks like they pre-switch on the out of bounds.
Polo trying to get it in, and does for Clardy. 7 seconds left. And taking her time, down to 2 seconds left. She will drive it and fire it and can't hit at the buzzer. That took a long time to develop. They clearly wanted her to get off a shot, but she misses at the horn.
You know, it's interesting because there are strategies like this where you don't want time for an offensive rebound because you don't want to give the other team a chance. You'd rather go to OT, and that's the strategy that Kate Pay took. Clardy had a matchup she thought she could score on. They ran the play for her, and North Carolina hangs on to put this thing in overtime. What a great fourth quarter for Stanford on the offensive end.
Well, it sure was, and tied 65-65 as we go to OT. Stanford ending the fourth on a 7-2 run. Ogden the star there. They need her to continue to do that. North Carolina only 14 for 24 at the foul line. So we've been talking about this throughout the day, and it's not the kind of thing people love to hear about, but North Carolina hurting themselves by missing 10 foul shots, and could have salted this game away already.
Without Aguero and Toomey with 4 fouls, it's going to be really interesting to see how much North Carolina attacks the interior. I mean, I think they still go to Toomey. I think that's what has gotten them to this point. I think Ogden is playing with a lot of confidence. I see her and Clardy leading in the huddle over there by Stanford. That's what you want your upperclassmen to do.
Now, Nunu Aguera averaging 15 and 9, fouled out of this game. Fouling out in the fourth. So if Stanford is going to pull off an upset here on the road, they'll do it without their #1 player, but Courtney Ogden has become that star for them down the stretch with 19 points to lead all scorers. And here we go to overtime at Chapel Hill. And North Carolina wins the opening tip in OT. LeVar tossing that one out of the reach of Laney Grant, so turnover for North Carolina.
North Carolina running some other dribble drive action. I like to see the dribble drive. I don't think we've seen much of that from them, so I think Courtney Bangor trying to mix it up a little bit. Trying to see if they can get an early score.
Polo to the bench for the Cardinal. And trying to grab the lead here with Clardy, who missed the shot at the horn of regulation.
I'd go right out to me.
Off for Ogden. And stolen away. Ran with the theft, looking to finish it. Can't. And a whistle. She will draw the foul.
Anytime you're making that uphill pass, you know North Carolina is going to gamble. That is a cross the lane on an angle that is an uphill from the elbow up to the wing. That is a chance for North Carolina to get an easy one.
Ran 81% in and out on the first. And the misses at the line continue to hurt North Carolina. And she makes 1 of 2. And a 1-point lead for the Tar Heels.
Fake that dribble handoff. Again, Clardy, that action has worked for her with Laney Grant on her.
And Grant, her 3rd foul. So it'll be Clardy to the line to shoot 2. And a team of excellent foul shooters. She's among the best, 84%.
How about the job of Kate Pay and her staff after the game in Raleigh on Thursday? She told us they spent a lot of time on film, individual film, team film, meetings, just keeping everybody together. She loves her team. She says their chemistry is good and they're very well connected. And they played like it in the second half.
Well, they sure have, and they have their first lead since it was 9-5 in the first quarter. Up 67-66. Harris. Here's Grant. Trying to get open for a long-distance shot, a specialty for her, but nothing there. Shot clock at 3. LeVar with a step-back jumper. No. Harris with a new shot clock. They won't wait. Long distance, that won't drop for Kelly.
Look at the job Eschmeyer's done. On the glass, scoring points, being effective and very efficient in her minutes.
Did not play very much at all until late in the game. Eschmeyer with a touch here. Backs it down into the blue and hits it.
Impressive. Part of that freshman class that you were referencing to before about being the #3 freshman class in the country this year.
She's a McDonald's All-American. And lanky at 6'4", a lot of skill there. Toomey. Under 3 to go in overtime. And now we've got a whistle here. I thought initially we might have a push-off.
Yeah, Kate Pay's losing her mind over there. I mean, how Toomey has had 4 fouls and has played. She's wondering what about the chicken wing right here. Watch this. That's a push-off.
Sure is. Uoya will pick up her 2nd foul. North Carolina to the line and Toomey to shoot. 70%. And for the moment, back to a 2-point game. And makes 1 of 2. Carolina 16 for 28 at the line. They've left a lot of points at the foul line today. Uoya gives up the dribble. 5 to get up a shot now for Stanford. Clardy gets it back, heaves it. And that never gets to the iron. It's a shot clock violation.
What a stance.
1 pass too many, but yeah, really good defense.
Sorry, Dave. Really good D by North Carolina. They really guarded the ball well that time. You know, sometimes you guard the action, sometimes you guard the ball. North Carolina guarding the ball in the quarter court.
Boy, not very often. You have 21 turnovers, and your star player has long since fouled out, yet you lead in overtime with 2 minutes to go. That's the case for the Cardinal, though. LeVar, good feed underneath, and a quick strike here for Harris to tie the game.
Set that little screen on the nail and push for the switch. It's a good call from the bench by Courtney Banghart. You force that switch, and then you get Harris with her back to the basket.
Apollo with the feed and the finish. Chloe Clardy with a key basket, 71-69. Navarre not waiting around, but a whistle. And that'll go against North Carolina with 1:42 in overtime. And Stanford with a 2-point lead.
Is that an illegal screen on Harris?
It is on Harris, indeed, number 2. So Ogden has to race to the baseline to check this in for the Cardinals. 1:40 to go in OT. And Clardy lost it on the pass. Another turnover, 22 of them now for Stanford.
Got to move the ball right here. No Toomey on the floor. I like Harris.
Kelly at the foul line. Can't hit it. And Clardy collects the rebound.
It's kind of where we were at the end of regulation, right? Stanford with a 2-point lead with a minute to play. They went to their horns action. They're back in it.
Kate Bay calling the play on the Stanford bench. Here's Ogden.
Ogden with one of the top defenders in the ACC on her.
Clardy drives it, a wild shot. Rebound is up, no good. E.G. Way comes away with another offensive rebound. They keep it alive. Here's Ogden right down the lane. She lays it in.
What a hustle play. E.G. on the offensive glass. Again, the smallest player on the floor. Does that tell you anything about the character of her play?
They're all of 5'6". Navarre leaning in, heavy traffic. No, Ogden kept the rebound alive. No whistle. She hit the deck.
Got a foul, and Rapolo is the one. A lot of contact underneath the basket.
Stanford on top with 25 seconds left in overtime.
Watch E.G. come in with the offensive rebound. Back to back. Doesn't let Renaya Kelly tie her up, and then makes the right read. The lane opens for Ogden. What a battle by Stanford. What a tremendous job by Kate Pay and her team coming out of the break at the half where they were trailing by 5.
And they're so good at the foul line, 79%. They could put the game away here in overtime at the line. Another one coming for Leopoldo, who is now 12 for 12 on the season.
Well, it's a 2-possession game. North Carolina timeout to advance the basketball. I do not necessarily think you need a 3. I think you can get a quick 2.
We will take the timeout. 75-69 Stanford.
We're in overtime, and this is how we got here. Eschmeyer, the freshman, off the bench after Aguirre got 5 fouls and went to the bench, and then North Carolina just can't get the defensive glass because E.G. Woye, the smallest player on the floor, played a lot bigger than her frame. And Clardy finishes in the middle of the floor. North Carolina does not need a 3 here. And they throw it away.
And there's a foul before that. E.G. Woye will get hit to the personal on a hold, her 3rd.
She's holding Kelly right there, but that foul has not been called all game.
That's right. We were talking about Eschmeyer. 10 points in 7 minutes of work for Stanford. What a difference there. So Kelly at the line, sinks the first. So there's 17-29 at the stripe. And Kelly clutch there. Back to a 4-point game and a timeout. Stanford. 20 seconds in overtime.
So Stanford will make sure they have the right personnel on the floor that make free throws, that make good decisions. North Carolina is going to have to quick steal, trap, foul. In that order. If you don't want to take too much time here, but I do like, I mean, that's a break for North Carolina to get 2 free throws and have it be Renaya Kelly.
So there's a reset, and Stanford has the possession arrow. Stanford 1 timeout left. Neither side with a foul to give. Stanford had an opportunity to win the game in regulation with a missed shot at the buzzer, but they have outplayed North Carolina here in overtime. And trying to pick up a big win here.
I mean, great management of the game, and you're going to spread the floor out here to spread North Carolina's defense.
Stevenson with the inbounds. And as you mentioned, a quick foul here.
You put Mary Ashley Stevenson in the game because you trust her as a passer and an inbounder. It's a really important part of making sure you get the ball inbounds to the right player.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, she makes 90% of the foul line. And Lopolo hasn't missed all year at the line, and now they'll bring Stevenson back to the bench. 18.7 seconds to go in OT.
North Carolina will use one of those timeouts to advance the ball.
And Lopolo on the money makes the pair. Timeout, North Carolina.
Same situation now, except for I think they do need a 3. Stanford only has 1 timeout remaining. They can still advance the ball, but I think North Carolina will draw something up here to shoot the 3. I like Renaya Kelly making this decision.
Kelly, the 5'7" junior from Alabama, has not exactly been on fire beyond the 3-point line this year at 22%, but the Heels have not hit a 3 since the second quarter.
Second in the league and makes the best 3-point percentage. And quite honestly, Dave, they haven't really taken any in the second half. They just decided to pound away in the paint, and they did score productively in the paint with Harris and Toomey, but they're going to need a 3 now.
Kelly's going to put it in. Over the top, just thrown away.
They were trying to set up a 3 by playing inside out. Got to execute better. North Carolina not going to foul.
I think gets it ahead for Lopolo. He's automatic at the line, so they stay away from her.
Game over.
That's it. 5 seconds to go. Stanford winds up splitting on Tobacco Road, but a huge win for them against the top 20 team as they come to North Carolina and win it in overtime. Gutsy effort for the Cardinal down the stretch.
Quad 1 win for Stanford on the road.
77-71 over North Carolina. More basketball, Iowa State and Baylor coming your way. For Deb Antonelli, I'm Dave O'Brien as we toss it to Eric and Christy.